just a nice, low electronic humming. Um, anyway, unrelated, but while I'm thinking about it, lightning. I made it to the waypoint in the desert.
Hey,
All
Brian.
my waypoints got deleted, so I had to follow the map.
Oh no.
But I learned something. There is an
Yeah.
item called a returned or a summoning scepter we can use to call our birds.
Well, fantastic.
And it says across great distances. It does says like sometimes it won't work, but it
But
worked
how am I supposed
from
to play with the native trevor?
the structure back to base after teleporting.
Well,
So
he's gonna unmute when he finishes eating, which is
we
what
are
was
good in
making
that
noise.
Oh,
in
I
that
see.
capacity.
I did unmute.
Well, I
I'm
didn't
already
know
done.
that because I had taken my headphones off, so I didn't know he'd seen it.
Anyways, it's been 21 or 20 days, 21 hours. Who would like to recap what happened last time and what everyone's current thoughts are? What are y'all thinking?
No thoughts, head empty.
Terrico had a goddamn divine revelation, or at least as close as he's gonna get. We wandered forever.
Oh yeah.
We went past where there might have been human-sized bees, not little person-sized bees, but full-on human. We found an abandoned church. We snooped around a little bit, and then in the middle of the night, Terrico had a visit from the Shadow Man. Shadow person? Let's go with person. Don't want to assume,
The shadow thing.
Got to ask a bunch of questions. They seemed to not want to kill us. And then they fixed the church, and we found that there were train tracks underneath it. But we were like, hey, we should probably go home.
To resupply, not just because we didn't want to deal with it.
That's fair, yes, to resupply. Although, also, now that we're home, it feels like there's a couple things on the bulletin board that we might want to check out. Mostly nightmares.
In light of new information. Oh,
Also, they have updated their
that's
post.
different. Yeah.
Seem to be descended into madness.
Seem to be
Yeah,
descending
little
into
celestial
madness.
horror vibe going on.
Did you say celestial horror?
Yeah, but that
Jokes
was
are
not the right
scary.
word. What is cosmic horror?
Okay. I was gonna say celestial horror sounds like a fun genre. But I wasn't sure where
I
you were
feel like
getting
it's
the
close
divine
enough to
element.
cosmic. I can see it.
I think, they're similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
Celestial horror is like that Christian book series where the
Where they do laundry.
rapture happens, and then there's some people left over. They got turned, and it got turned into like an FPS, or not an FPS. That's first person shooter. What's the genre where you control like troops and stuff?
RTS.
RTS, yeah, that one. And it was
For-
not great because it turns out associating mass murder with biblical rapture was in the aftermath was not as fun as people thought it was going to be.
Literally every time an angel comes into contact with a human in the Bible, the first thing they say is, "Do not be afraid," and that is because angels are terrifying, and in they are a horror. They are celestial horrors.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Which one?
All of them.
Oh.
My statement stands.
I think the burning wheels with many eyes on them and 7,000 wings are pretty cool looking, actually.
If you woke
If
up
they-
at 3
My
a.m.
retinas would be gone, but,
with this thing hovering over you in a booming, all-encompassing voice saying, "Be not afraid," you would piss yourself.
would not piss myself. I'd probably die of a heart attack, though.
Booped
And then-
before,
and then
like,
piss yourself.
5.
So I would shit myself because you evacuate your bowels. You don't piss yourself.
Well, I mean,
You
I don't know.
Well,
You
do
imagine
you think you
everything.
hold your bladder?
every
No,
every
what
dead
if my bladder's
person.
empty, Katrina?
You shit yourself, but
Well, what
don't
if your
piss
bowels are
yourself.
empty?
When was the last time you shit and not piss? That's what I want to know.
yeah.
Quite often.
That's a power, my friend.
Put it in the chat, y'all. When was the last time you shit and not pissed?
Call to action.
Let's get that engagement going.
Please say you haven't started the stream.
Oh, it's been going.
It's
Oh,
on.
good.
I've already commented.
My life is in the internet is ruined.
No, you're just proving how talented you are. God.
What you see? What happens is, I piss more often than I.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually just because he pisses so frequently that sometimes they simply don't line up.
Wow. Kind of impressive. In a like mildly concerned for your health sort of way.
Yeah, you should
Drink a lot of coffee.
be careful because too much frequent urination is a sign of prostate cancer in men.
It's not that frequent.
And it's not a change. He's always been this way.
It's the coffee.
Okay.
Anywho.
Oh, Cameron, did you want us to go back to the D&D topic?
I felt like we were
Yeah,
reaching a
that's
natural
why we're
stopping
here.
point. Normally our tangents into the scatological don't take that long. Any hoodles. Terrico had a very frightening cosmic celestial horror moment while you watched a building go back in time, basically. You also found the giant bird.
Oh yes, the bird that has a message from
Oh, the
owner of the
clockwork
company
or
who was
whatever
like,
bird.
"Hey, our boat never showed up. Are you guys all dead?"
Oh yeah, and time. It seems like maybe time is fucked up.
Time is fucked up, or like we're in the wrong spot. Like something.
It was all very
I
confusing.
A and B?
can't remember what it was. It was time was fucked up, or if like the whole
I
continent
think that-
was, like in the wrong spot. I think that wasn't.
I think that time is what's fucked up, but it caused navigational issues. Or something like that. But I don't know if we ever totally nailed that down either way.
I don't think.
I think it was.
Something is
I think
something
it,
is fucked on a pretty fundamental level.
what I think it was is, and I might be wrong, but my interpretation was that it wasn't only this island that got moved from a different world, but like this entire
Oh, that's
area.
right. That was one of the things that the thing showed Terrico, wasn't it?
Yeah, it showed like a bunch of people working on some sort of magnificent device, like one that has been found on our mainland. But
It's-
ours was broken and ruined, and then it showed like a brilliant flash of light fading in. Yeah, it definitely sounds like their civilization got teleported to our world, but something happened where like this island showed up at a much later time than it showed up, and then vastly. Also, thank God
Lag.
this island showed up in the middle of the ocean and not just like on top of existing civilization.
Well, the fact that our navigation was wrong because the stars were wrong, right?
No.
That
Darth had nothing to
seems-
do with it.
No, I thought the stars were off. I think
The stars were in the wrong
Stars
place
are
or
off.
something like that.
The stars
And
are
that
off
was
for
one of
the
the-
time because
one of the
it's not the
clues.
actual time kind of thing.
Stars are definitely off, but that is not what caused the navigational issues. They are,
Because we chose this area when we were on the boat. Is that correct, Cameron?
You chose it. You chose it before you were even on the boat. We basically chose it off of a rough drawing of the coastline from the first vessel who discovered this place, and then using that map, following that kind of rough coastline map, you made your way to the kind of inlet and cove that you guys have settled it next to. kind of big bay.
Also, like 10 years. Is it? Wait 1 second. Let me look that back up. It's been a hot minute.
Hot minute since.
They discovered this island.
Not really.
No.
I always forget. How do I find the calendar again?
You
The
don't.
little bookmark thing on the left. Journal notes.
Can I put
No.
something up on the board for all of the other villagers?
I mean,
Thank you.
yeah,
I
you already have.
Well, like specifically, I want Iris to make them do something.
I mean, you're the boss. What are you trying to get them to do?
I want them to gather different herbs, and I'm going to give them a few warning signs.
You're.
If
It's under
fuzzy-
tasty treats.
Well, no, because they don't know the difference. I don't want them to gather tasty treats. I want them to grab every single herb they find. So we can just passively gather materials that we can sort through later. So the idea is I'm going to tell them to grab everything but skip something that has fuzziness or very bright colors.
I mean, they've kind of already been doing that for the most part in the area kind of around your base. Most people, you know,
Okay, cool.
aren't going out and exploring and doing these things because that's not what they were here to do. They were set here. They were like, okay, you are hired, you are a builder. You are hired, you are a farmer.
As long as they've
Yeah,
done
but-
that.
The builder.
Oh God.
Yeah, what was that?
He said Bob, and it fucking spiked the hell out of his mic.
Sorry.
I don't think it was you. I think it was your mic, because the rest of your statement wasn't as bad.
No.
The builder was regular.
Yeah, the builder was fine. It was just the Bob part. Your mic did not like Bob.
He was really excited to yell, Bob!
And he did not say it that loud in the room either.
Anywho,
Anyway, yeah, I'm done talking now.
okay.
I'm not that nuts.
You guys are back in town. You have the donkey. You have the cart. You have a little bit of trauma. For at least one of you.
I think you're overhyping how scary this was to Terrico now. It was terrifying in the first minute. Now it's just exciting.
Yeah, that's why it's a little bit of trauma.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. The, like, initial, like, few moments are still, like, buried in there, but after that, just completely over.
If you ever get hit with detect thoughts again, you're going to be like, what the fuck? What's happening?
Worm had a giant fucking metal bird fall on his chest, and he almost like he took a lot of damage from that.
No,
He
no,
could have
no.
trauma.
The giant bird didn't fall on your chest. You dropped the giant bird and fell after it. There is a
It
difference.
fell on me.
No, because you were kind of like walking with it on your feetsies. It might have fell on you. But, regardless, Corum had a scary moment.
Yeah, scary moment. He fell off a fucking roof.
Yeah.
He doesn't normally do that. He doesn't normally go on roofs.
A little too,
Does make it more likely that you don't normally fall off a roof.
civilization there. It's like falling out of a tree. Corum doesn't normally do that.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Not since the accident.
Corum's been walking with a limp this whole time, and no one's noticed.
Who has good perception?
Corum.
Exactly.
Well, I think Corum would notice his own limp.
Maybe. Anyway. What did he be?
If he somehow missed that he was limping, that would be absolutely fucking wild.
Anyway. You guys are back in town. What are you all doing?
We need to unload the donkey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to
From
reach
what?
out to the girl who wants the honey hankering, because that person raised bees, right?
So they
Yeah.
can maybe help
They
us
used to keep bees back
figure
home.
out how to deal with the bees.
Yeah.
That's smart.
I mean, they probably work mostly the same as a regular sized bee, right?
You just have to build a
They
giant.
exhibited very bee-like behavior while we were watching them.
Yes.
I'm going to go commandeer the kitchen and start making a lot of extracts.
I thought you were talking about real life for a moment.
He's already
Seems
commandeered
like
the
a
kitchen.
weird thing to do in the middle of D&D, but okay.
I live in my kitchen for the past 3 years.
Like,
it's kind of sad.
I'm in my kitchen in a different way than Lightning is. Like, I'm adjacent to my kitchen. He is in his kitchen.
physically inside of my kitchen. My stove is less than 10 feet away from me.
I mean, likewise, but you
But
could
in a
you could
different
lean
way.
over and like turn on your
You're in a
tap if you
studio
wanted.
apartment.
Exactly. That's the big difference. To be fair, you are in a house that's been converted into apartments,
Yeah, but it's not. It's decidedly
not a studio. You have bedrooms. You have more than two doors.
There is a
Into
door
rooms.
separating the place where I sleep and the rest of my home.
I only have a door separating the place where I go to the bathroom. Sometimes both at the same time. And a curtain for the bed area. Anyway, you are still in the kitchen. You're like trying to, like boil out an extract kind of thing, like dissolve
just
in
make-
like alcohol.
Yeah, you can't really make bulk extracts in like a laboratory setting.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It just, I'm using like
Just need
pure
more
alcohol, making, just distilling stuff down. I'm not doing any of the poisons here
Okay.
that I've gathered. This is all just the actual flavoring things
Okay.
we found.
Make a knowledge medicine or profession alchemy if you have that.
Okay. Heal. Yes. Because there is no knowledge medicine.
Yes. Also, you don't have a profession. Oh, you have
I do
craft
not.
alchemy. You can use craft alchemy either. And it's not profession alchemy.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I think your
Still
knowledge
think-
is just
I still
higher.
think heal is way better.
I mean, mathematically it's better, but I don't know if it makes more sense. But you're also just boiling stuff. You're not really doing any sort of fancy alchemy. So while he's doing that, what is everyone else doing?
I guess Terrico, I was gonna say is gonna take, but like help moving Bird to the workshop area
Okay.
and
Oh,
Yeah.
starting to compose a message. Not gonna record it yet, just like writing it down on paper.
Okay.
That I was gonna say, hey Cam, since we can just keep listening to the message, but in 20 days since we last heard it, could you maybe like post it in the chat here in Discord so I can remember what it is, but I don't have to make.
I don't think I have anything that was actually in it written down. Basically, it was like, hold on, let me check my notes, see if it has here. Basically, it's like, hey, what the fuck's happened?
Cameron, you didn't anticipate a 3-week gap?
Yeah, I mean, they're also all recorded. I could go back and find the timestamp and do that if I really wanted to. But basically, it's like, hey, what the fuck's happening? My boat didn't show up. Did you guys at least make it your destination? Hopefully one of you can send this back to me and tell me what's going on, because, again, the boat's gone. Did you all die? Did I lose a bunch of workers? Did I just lose a ship and have to claim insurance on that? Because that was, like, the least expensive part of it, and, like, how much money he put into this, and how expensive it was, and all the work that's going into this, and really just, like, the logistics
Or
of...
most of it was irrelevant rambling.
Yeah, mostly it's like a businessman complaining about the cost of doing business and being like, hey, please tell me at least y'all fuckers are alive, or else we're going to have to do something for round 2 of this.
get to work thinking of what to reply. Then also, all the sailors left, right?
For the most part, yeah.
Oh, fuck. I might need Corum for this.
Yo, what up?
The help of whoever is best with the stars and navigating maps and such, trying to figure out where our location is relative to mainland now, figure out the best way to fly it back, and also to try and tell it the right place. What if it comes back to have them have the right course? So I guess we're going to be doing some weird stars map shenanigans to try and figure out how far off the original calculation.
I mean, you could always send it off from where you got it too. Then you don't have to do the math.
That's fair, but I guess I kind of want to do the math anyway, so that way when it comes back, it comes back to town or closer to town.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Corum, I will have you roll me, because I doubt Terrico has this, a knowledge geography check.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, brother man. I do have that. Well, it's not going to be great, but I have it.
Exact distances and timings and things are, kind of hard to deduce based solely on, star maps and things. Like, it's quite difficult to be like, okay, well, this is at this angle at this time using, like sextants and tangents and things like that to try to find the angles of the horizon and locations relative to things. You can kind of
It's
gather
just
that
have a
you're
whole thing.
probably at least a few hundred miles off, all things considered, by your guess. In what direction and in what way, it's hard to say. Hector, Yabo, Corum, what are you guys up to?
I was hoping Terrico with the bird, but I guess that was mostly just the carrying. And then I was gonna unload the donkey as well. Should I just make everything in its inventory non-carried so we still have a record of it?
Yeah, let's go with that.
That can just sort of be the collective.
The group inventory.
Okay, so that's done. We wanted to talk to the person with the nightmares, right? Because of their freaky weird new one.
I would like to talk to the people who have been around the person with the nightmares. I don't want to
It's a good idea.
freak them out necessarily, but
I mean,
There's-
this message
there's
is
probably
on the
rumors
board
going
for
around.
everybody to see.
exactly. I don't want to startle them and have them run.
Urko would, after you guys do some investigating, like to talk to the person directly to see if this is another thing with the shadow person or something else. But he's mostly focused on the bird now.
Fair.
I help unload the donkey, and then I go with Hector to speak with the Nightmare Man. And by that I mean the man who has nightmares. Hopefully we're not going to directly to the Nightmare Man. That would be...
I think it's a woman.
Yeah. And the woman is probably having nightmares about the man.
The shape is only loosely humanoid. I don't know if we have enough to go on.
This
What did
mysterious
I
shadow
say?
figure.
The sharp is only loosely humanoid, which does make it scarier.
It's got the anatomy there, but also it's like a big old hat. So it's like, is that part of its body? Is it wearing something?
It's It's actually wearing another person that's folded into the shape of a hat.
There's 3 gnomes in a trench coat.
Who knows?
Alright.
50 dragon rats in it.
So it's kind of late in the day by the time you guys get back. So you all load the thing. Charity does some cooking. We'll just go ahead and move forward and check.
Make it the
Do
next
the
day.
next day. Scattered clouds, but mostly clear. I would like someone to roll me. I guess you guys were gone for a couple days. Someone roll me 4 d20s, or 4 people roll me a d20 rather.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Glad I
Alright.
wished with that nat 20.
I'm trying. I can't. I pressed the button.
Corum, I really like your dice.
There we go.
Oh, the game's
They're wood.
paused. I don't know if that affects anything.
Why did it do a -1?
Did it do a -1?
It just said fuck
I
you.
was struggling with the buttons. It was probably something I did. I probably did press that at
Hector
some
had
point.
-1 to determine the day.
Okay, where am I? Here we go. Okay, I would like someone to roll me another. The person who hasn't rolled a d20 to roll me a d20, please.
That'd be me.
That's you, Trevor.
Working on it. I'm just also. Oh
That's not
shit.
it.
Oh, wonderful.
Trevor dies. Erico just trips and falls and dies.
Even or odd?
Let's find out.
I'm not odd. Okay.
Oh.
Fuck.
I mean, I was going to roll.
I was rolling to determine even or odd.
Well,
Okay.
you both did even.
So, when you guys get home yesterday, you hear some excited yipping and
Like
barking.
from people? Oh, dogs.
As you find some of the dogs that had been brought on your journey had done what dogs and animals do when they love each other
They
very,
made
very
babies.
much, and you have
Covers.
a new litter of puppies.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. That's a joke.
And there are 11 puppies.
Oh my god, we have
That's
so
a
many
lot.
puppies.
Jesus
many.
Christ.
I had to come up with so many names.
Alternatively, what's our food like?
What?
Nothing.
No.
We have enough. That is my job, sir.
I can't believe you would even say such a thing.
Yabo's gonna get
I don't
kicked
know
out of the
what is
camp.
wrong with you. Never mind Yabo. I'm upset with Jordan.
Who's kidding?
Anyway, you've got about 6 weeks of food left,
In about 6 weeks. No, I'm just kidding.
barring bad harvests, or barring normal harvests. 6 weeks of emergency food. So what would that be? 1 puppy for every 10 people? It's not a lot. Also horrible. Don't eat the puppies.
I'm also able to hunt. I can do it. I got this. I have a fucking team.
To us before we would need to eat.
Well, if we
puppies.
wait until the puppies are like...
I would eat people before I ate the puppies.
Sounds like we're eating Yabo.
Eating some bone worms before you eat the puppies.
Yabo's not saying this at all. This is
I don't
sort-
think Yabo probably makes good meat. I think he's all muscular. He's probably tough.
We just need to pound it out, man. Get one of those, the mallets with the.
Yabo does not like you like that.
So yeah, really just pound Yabo. Really.
I knew it was gonna go there. As soon as I heard Katrina say pounded out, I was like,
Yep.
I
Make him-
Yep. I can just wait for someone else to do it.
Make him really soft instead of hard. Maybe,
See, I'll-
maybe he'll start hard and go soft.
Wait.
Anyway. There's puppies.
Puppies.
There's
How many puppies again? I don't
11,
have any.
11 puppies. It was quite a
Last
big
one was
litter.
Katrina. I'm moving
I
away from
put it
the
in the chat.
Good.
Okay.
I put the 11 puppies in the chat. Calm down.
What did you put in the chat? I don't see anything in chat.
No, I put it in the YouTube chat.
Oh.
YouTube chat.
Why?
Why?
Engagement.
Thanks, Katrina. Thanks.
I think you're a little too invested in the YouTube engagement.
Your first message was "you doing great, sweetie." Was that your encouragement to yourself?
No, that was a sarcastic comment about JJ.
About 11 puppies in the chat. We're like, we don't see it. She's like, no, I put it in the YouTube chat.
Godspeed, Katrina. Anyway, it's the next morning. It's partly cloudy. There's puppies.
Corum is gonna pick out his puppy.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Cats.
No, that's what the even odd roll was. If Trevor would have said odd and it would have been odd, it would have been kitties.
I can't believe I messed up so bad.
Yep. You fucked up and got dogs instead of cats. Anyway, the next
Maybe
morning,
next time.
you all wake up refreshed, eat breakfast and reconvene. You notice that the kitchen and dining hall kind of smells very herbaceous, and it kind of fills the space from Charity's extraction processes yesterday. But you all wake up. What is your first course of action?
Going around
The
and
puppies.
well, I chose a name for one. My puppy is named Remy.
That's a good puppy name.
It's a good puppy name. But for D&D, I want to go around while we're having breakfast and just touching base with people, like the people that are eating, like asking them about if they know any information about the person who's apparently been having nightmares, if anyone else is having nightmares, if they're seeing any like scratchings on the wall or scary shit. Tell me about it.
Roll a gather information check.
Tweet. This is not my strong suit.
Okay.
But that's fine. Yeah.
You live in a pretty small community.
I'm the boss.
You're the boss. You can be like, hey, tell me what I want to hear. No, or else really you don't have a current course or recourse to do anything about anyone who's dissenting
I
to you.
just sit
'cause you don't have a
down at
prison
each
yet.
individual table. I'm like, okay, I heard there are people with nightmares. Is it you?
What's the deal with that?
Is it
Tell me.
you?
Well, we know who it is.
Yeah. You do know who it is.
We talked to them before, didn't we?
I don't
I
think so.
we talked to them before. We put this off.
Yeah, I think this one's just been sitting on the notice board for a while. Okay. So, you ask around, and most people are kind of like, what are you talking about? Nightmares? No,
Do you not look at the notice board? Corum is appalled. He has important information on that board.
Guys, there's important stuff on there that you need to know.
I mean, you kind of get back like, yeah, I look at it, but I don't pay attention to anything about it.
This is a whole other problem.
I don't let it rule my life. It's like, okay, yeah, there's someone's having bad dreams. Okay. Old Two-Finger Dave lost his axe. Great. It doesn't really affect me in my day-to-day very much. I'll put some, like,
Do you know not to go and just walk off with women in the woods?
you get a lot of common senses back, like, yeah, of course. There's, like,
Okay.
120 of us here. I've met every one of you, or at least know your face. I'm not gonna go off into the woods with some strange woman I've never met before.
Not everyone understands that.
You would be surprised.
You'd be surprised.
You kind of
Alright,
see
I bet.
Arthend, as you guys are having this conversation, a couple tables over, kind of turn his head and cover his eyes with his hand, kind of look down, almost like face palming as he kind of picks at his porridge. Kind of diverts your gaze as you turn over and look at him. You see Dave a couple of seats over, kind of point and laugh with a spoon, kind of flinging some oatmeal across the table, like, ha, who could do that? Who would do that? What an idiot!
You know when you're flipping someone off with your like your hand to your face, that's what Quorum's doing. It's not very subtle, but it is what he's doing.
Arthur kind of smacks his hand on the table and kind of clatters the silverware and stuff for people that are just sitting down, and gets up and walks away. Yeah, most people aren't really having nightmares. It just seems to be kind of the one person. No one's really seeing anything strange. You hear one person tells you when you're asking about kind of scary stuff, they're like, well, the other night I went out to the shitter, and there was a terrible yowling in the night. Some sort of screeching beast that made it all come out nice and easy as I'm sitting in the dark, but other than that, no, nothing too scary.
You're not
Some big footprints
inside of the
outside
farm,
in the
right?
woods.
Oh, big footprints outside in the woods?
Yeah, and I think we know what that's all about at this point.
Yeah.
But something about
Well,
bone
if you do
worms.
have any-
I've been having a
if you
couple
do
bad
have
dreams
any,
about bone worms.
Yeah.
Me nan, God's rest her soul. I keep having dreams of her every now and again, questioning my life decisions. But instead of her and her smiling old face, it's her and her loose skin being eaten by white maggot monster things. Really,
You know
it really
what?
isn't that
Oh.
unsettling. All things considered. She wasn't a great
I
person in life.
I think the doc might have something for that for you. If you want to go talk to Charity, she has some new stuff going on that might be able to fix that up for you.
The guy kind of looks and he goes, "Oh, really?" And he says, "Okay, well, I'm done eating. Let me go talk to her." As he kind of gets up and walks over to Charity and is like, "So I have unresolved childhood trauma, and Corum here has told me you might have the drug to fix it."
Corum does like finger guns.
And backs away.
Needed a test
Have
subject.
any narcotics?
It's this. So you see this basically like this 45-year-old, like kind of tanned, black hair, human man, kind of like short cut, like kind of scruffy, almost graying beard, kind of big, burly. This guy's like out working in construction and doing manual labor. Kind of come over to you and just very bluntly to your face says, "I have childhood trauma."
Very loudly, Charity's gonna lean over and go to Corum and go, "What? Did you want me to make this guy a drug addict?"
You had stuff to have people test things, right? The tasty treats.
Oh, I mean, yeah. That's like
I-
a completely different context.
I also thought like he would just need like some emotional assistance. I'm not very good at this talking to people.
But that's what
You're their doctor.
In her mind, this dude just came up to her and asked her if she had any drugs to make him forget.
And Carm,
I mean, technically it's to make him feel better.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a therapist.
Oh, so it's
But-
Do you not have any
Corum is gonna-
SSRIs?
oh, Terrico's really good at talking.
If you
Terrico's
go,
really good at talking too.
Why are you doing this?
I need a nun name. Somebody give me a nun name.
Sister Julia.
Margaret.
Sister Margaret. I like that. Go talk to Sister Margaret. She will be able to probably give you some good touches, maybe get you in contact with God and pray, and maybe that'll ease some of your pain. And with that, I have named one of my 4 people.
yep. I'm adding her to the NPCs right now.
Backdoor pilot to Sister Margaret.
And the one note I'm going to have on her sheet
sorry.
is therapist? Question mark.
Is this some what is the religion system in this world? Is it monotheistic? Is it polytheistic?
Monotheistic.
Okay.
There's one God.
I was gonna say polytheistic.
Well, according in our
Wait.
society, I was under the assumption that we
Ah.
worship a god, right?
Eh.
I don't think that he ever.
No
said
one's ever really established or any questions about religion.
No,
I imagine.
I'm sorry, that was fairy tale.
Oh yeah, that was fairy tale.
Yeah.
That was fairy tale because Kaede took 2 levels in cleric. That's what it was. My bad. I was combining god lore because we don't talk about God very much.
It comes up so little.
I mean, you guys were just at a church last time, but yeah, no, it's mostly people are just kind of left to their own. There's different temples and deities and things. Some people
But
worship
I'm willing to bet
concepts.
Sister Margaret can provide some valuable insight regardless.
Yes, exactly. Help
Well,
this.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure whatever church Sister Margaret and by extension by extension Sherry is from, probably put some money towards this. Probably put some money towards this project, which is why they wanted to send the sister here. Because
Yeah.
they want to establish their religion on the new continent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's never gone bad ever.
Exactly.
Never.
Well, at least
That's
it's not
never
just
been an
them.
issue.
It's part of a larger expedition, at least.
Yes, 'cause that's never gone bad ever. Luckily, Cameron killed off the natives before we got here.
That was
Were
very
you
kind
able
of
to
him.
have conversations with Japan? Was it the Portuguese and the Dutch?
Portuguese and the British.
I
Not
thought it was a
America.
Dutch.
Not.
I thought it was a Dutch, like pastor, a Dutch.
I'm pretty
priest.
sure. I'm pretty sure it was the Dutch in Japan.
I'm
Netherlands, yeah.
I just literally watched a video about this.
Anyway, this man, he kind of introduced. He's like, so I guess I'll go talk to Sister Margaret. But I'm kind of new to this whole religion thing and anything of the sorts. Like, what should I expect? I know you're not a therapist, but like, you've been, right? Have you been to therapy before?
Yes.
I
Okay.
was really depressed a couple weeks ago.
Sister Margaret, she'll just be somebody to talk to, somebody who won't judge you for anything you say, and you could just, get anything that's off your chest.
Okay.
Open up.
Gotcha. To be like, so I won't keep hearing in my head, Lark, why did you come to this new place? You were never the adventurous type. Why would you start this up? You knew you were going to regret this. And why don't you just get back to work? You're a strong man with nothing going on in your head. Why just work? And
It seems like Lark, in fact, has quite a lot going on in his head.
Yeah. Lark, you will probably still have those thoughts, but Sister Margaret will be able to help you cope with them, make it not feel so bad.
Oh, so I won't be bottling it up inside, keeping all my
Like I
thoughts
said,
and.
I'm not much of a therapist.
Oh,
So.
okay. He
Yeah,
kind of says, "Well, thank you for your time, Doc." He turns and looks at Corum.
Desperately hoping to like materialize a trap door that will open under her.
He kind of turns
if
and
you
looks at
ever-
Corum and is like, "Oh, and you said to talk to the other boss, right?" And he kind of, what's
Terrico-
Terrico
hey,
doing?
Let me tell you what.
What's Terrico doing?
Terrico helped me get through a big depression recently by just telling me that I don't need to have I don't need to focus on making my own family with like a significant other. That I just need to focus on myself and my friends.
Oh, okay.
That's what
so,
Terrico
so
told
what
me.
you're saying is don't throw myself all into work. I should take some time away and work on myself instead of just civilization.
Do you like
You gotta
trees?
have a healthy balance.
He kind of sits there for a second and goes, I mean, I guess they're
You wanna
sturdy.
come hang out with me?
They're tall. They provide shelter for different things. And he kind of sits there and he's like, he kind of sits there. He's like, maybe one day I'll sit on that. As he
Cheers.
as he,
Me and
oh, go ahead.
I forgot. Oh, I was just gonna bring up my love question mark. Nope, that's not my. Me and Tashal sometimes hang out and we drink beer and look at trees. So, if you ever want to come join us,
He says he kind of laughs and says, "Ah, you had me at drink." But look at trees. You just kind of sit there in silence, or do you like talk about how you feel?
it depends on the day.
Oh, okay. He kind of looks at each of you and says, I think this was a productive day. Thanks, boss. Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
Thanks, Doc. If if I have any more nightmares, I'll make sure to come to you after talking to Sister Margaret and trying to get over my mental blocks. Take some time for myself, Maybe I'll start a project, start a hobby project. And he kind of sits there and he's like,
That could be good.
and he kind of is like, oh, but I don't really have any hobbies. Back home before I came out here, it seemed like I was working day in and day out and taking care of Nan. As he kind of says, he's
Hey,
like, oh, but
if you want to learn some crafts, stop by.
he kind of says, oh, I'll so kind. Thank you all for the offers, but I think I have a lot to sit on and I don't want to bother Sister Margaret so early in the morning, so I think I'll just go out and work for now and talk to her this afternoon.
Man,
Sure thing, bud. That sounds great.
He kind of says, thanks for everything, as he comes in and goes in for like a really big bear hug.
Hector gives him one.
He gets like, is it okay? I'm not normally super touchy-feely, but this just seems like an important moment in me getting my life sorted
Yeah,
moving
man,
forward.
bring it in.
And he just wraps you up in this big, warm hug.
who all is in this hug?
You hear it.
Hector is a great hugger, by the way. He gives excellent hugs.
I mean, he kind of invites you and Charity into the hug. I guess he kind of, puts out his
Corum
arms,
is going
kind
to
of.
go in front of Charity so that he takes Charity's hug spot.
And while that happens,
Let Charity escape.
disappears.
Roll me a hide check, Charity.
Can I help?
No, not really. Not in this particular situation.
You've helped enough, Katrina.
So as he's kind of going in for the hug, and Hector comes in, Corum comes in. I guess I should roll for him to perceive.
Come on, natural one.
He perceives. He kind of sees Charity take a couple steps backwards, and it's like he kind of doesn't acknowledge it openly, but as he's in this kind of big warm hug with Hector and Corum, he kind of goes, "She'll open up eventually, right? Maybe she needs to talk to Margaret too."
I think she might.
Um,
There's a lot going on in her head.
you hear just a kind of a quiet sob as he acknowledges the statement before saying, "Have a good rest of your morning," and walking off to go labor in the woods.
Charity, I made
All
another
right.
friend.
Well, great session, everybody. We helped Lark, and I know that was our main goal. So seems like we've accomplished everything. Have a great night, everybody.
Okay.
That has got to be by far our most fleshed out NPC. Other than maybe some of the speed dating people.
We got a decent amount on Three Finger Dave, or is it Two Finger Dave?
It's Three Finger Dave, so I misspoke earlier.
He lost 2 fingers.
He lost 2
right?
fingers, exactly. Okay, well, breakfast eventually comes to an end with people picking up and putting away their dishes and returning to or starting work for the day. You didn't really get a whole lot of information on Solent. You kind of already knew who she was, as like I said, it's kind of a small group, but she's normally, you kind of get some information where she normally hangs out when you guys aren't around. And she is a scout. A guard and a scout, predominantly. So, what is everyone doing?
Does she work morning shift or night?
Around this time, she's not normally like a normal, she's normally kind of like on patrol through the day, scouting, quote unquote, but helping with like odd jobs and things. Like, doesn't really have kind of a set pattern. Mostly she's kind of checking out the woods and things as she's going between places, kind of that kind of a scouting thing. So you're just kind of looking for her?
Yeah.
Alright. It takes a little while to track her down and find her. A couple hours or so, but you know that the last place she had been seen was walking, excuse me, towards the clay pit to kind of give some relief there, so the handful of guards that are just keeping an eye out for the dragon have a chance to kind of go eat their lunch and do different things. But as you guys are walking that way, you find her, sitting at the edge of the spring where you all had first encountered the bone worms. She's kind of just sitting there, taking a break, resting, refilling her water skin. It's kind of a weird way to describe an elf. Typically, they're much more high and mighty and things like that, but for kind of a full elf, she's kind of plain, kind of still nice, silky, shiny, kind of like short brown hair. She's kind of a fair, a little bit dark and tanned, but still pretty fair complexion. She's wearing kind of padded leather armor. She's got her like a shield and sword kind of at her side, kind of sitting on the ground. There's a kind of a bow slung over her back and a quiver. But at the moment, she seems just kind of caught up in her thoughts. Kind of, like I said, filling her water skin, eating a small stack, taking a break, before she goes and relieves the next people for lunch before she has obligation. So who all is going to talk with her?
I shall. I probably won't actually talk to her,
But the going
but
part.
the going part.
Yeah, I'm also going.
Somebody informs Teriko that we have found her. Teriko wants to speak with her.
Okay. So pretty much everyone's going to go at least hang out and be like, "We've got the gang here."
Except Charity.
Hey,
We're trying
it's
to
a manager
intimidate
meeting
you.
and you're invited.
I mean, is Charity going?
Sure.
Okay. I kind of figured Charity was going. Okay. Yep, so you guys see
I
her.
thought she would be wanting to avoid human contact after breakfast.
Probably wanting to be as far away from Lark as possible after breakfast. This seems like
Fair.
a pretty safe place to try to hide in the middle of the woods. Okay.
Corum is feeling very confident at his people skills right now, so if someone else doesn't try to talk to her first, he will steamroll this conversation. I think that's a threat.
Jericho really wants to immediately start asking about the shadow person, but he's like, oh, I should hold back. That's not how to ask. I'm gonna wait for somebody else to dig in a little bit, and then...
Some like tree blossoms fall down on the wind, disrupting the surface of the pond. You kind of see her reflection kind of sitting there as she's staring wistfully into it. Are you guys trying to be stealthy, or are you guys just kind of walking up pretty boldly?
I figured just walking up regular,
Yeah.
Stealth doesn't
yeah.
work with this, yeah.
just work.
Just kinda work.
walking.
Oh. So as
Yeah.
I wouldn't say boldly, but like just walking.
just walking, an air of
Walking a little
the
quietly so
normal
I
air
don't
of
know.
confidence.
Solent!
You kind of
Hey!
she kind of jumps up and drops her water skin into the spring for a second before she kind of quickly stands up straight back perpendicular to the ground, one hand down at her side, and kind of quickly, yes, salutes you very quickly,
Eddie's soldier.
and she kind of says, oh, sorry, old habits. So how can I help? How can I help all you? As she kind of leans down and begins picking up her and dusting off her water skin.
We are here to help you.
Oh,
We saw that you put a notice board, or you put something on the notice board a while ago, and it has been updated.
she's like, what? It's been updated. It's been up there for, I don't know, a month or two now at this point. I would have thought it would have gotten washed down or something. It's still up?
It is still up, and it has a
I'll be
drawing
straight up,
on it.
we don't do a very good job maintaining the notice board.
Yeah.
And she's like, it's
There's a lot of old stuff on there that we probably should take off.
we haven't really made it to the like litter stage of city yet, so I think we're working on that, right? Like they'll fall down and then they'll be like, oh, look at that piece of paper up against the wall.
It's
Right?
the natural order of things.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, yeah, I put something up. I was having bad dreams for a while, but
Have they finished? Are you no longer having bad dreams?
and she kind of looks you over and goes, I think so. I don't think I've had anything recently. Why?
Were you the person that updated it and added the drawing, or was that someone else?
And she kind of looks and goes, I didn't update anything, not that I know of, or not that I can remember at least.
Do you
The
mind
last thing
going
I
on
did
a
was just
walk with
talking about.
us?
And she's like, well, she kind of, well, I've got to go be relief duty, but if you come and then be like, hey, we need her for a minute, I guess we could do that. Otherwise, the guys are going to get kind of mad at me, and I don't want to be late again.
Here, I'll go talk to them. If you want to go walk with my crew, with them, I'll explain the situation, and I can be on post for you.
And she's like, oh, okay. That'll work. Thanks. She kind of very hesitantly leans down and picks up her kind of weaponry and her shield and goes, so is this just about me having bad dreams, or why is everyone out here?
I mean, I wanted to ask about you having bad dreams, like a month ago, but
We've just been busy.
yeah.
That's fair. There's a lot going
No,
on. Like worms that reanimate corpses, like
Everybody just is
singing
really
flowers.
all about those worms, aren't they? Can we
Like singing
finish this up?
flowers, like mysterious women abducting idiot men.
Thank you for reading the post.
I mean, I keep an eye on the notice board for anything new. You never know when something might come up. And she kind of turns and looks at Charity and says, so what kind of treats are you making?
Not psychedelic ones.
What?
Definitely.
Wait, She kind of looks at you and says, are you making like recreational drugs? I thought we were testing like flavorings and stuff.
I
Oh,
misunderstood.
flavor
She's
something.
not. That's yeah. That's fine.
Oh, okay.
He's muted right now.
Yeah, he is. I, I know. I was seeing if he was here or not. He is not. So we'll just sit here awkwardly talking about him not being here.
Conversation comes to a complete halt.
Exactly.
I guess we can come back to the drugs later. Virgo can ask quickly.
So I wonder who did make that
what bad
update
things
then.
were about.
And she's like, well, let's go take a look. We can.
Corum is not coming.
Corum is not coming. Corum is going to the clay pits. You get there. You relieve the people from their duties. You check up on the kind of like anti-tank spike wall that you set up in a way. Different sticks and things, punji spikes and stuff, and everything seems to be in order. People are a little bit more kind of on edge, knowing that it's still out there, but that it's lurking around. They're not sure how long if the spikes will be a good enough deterrent, considering it can, shatter trees with its club tail and stuff like that. But there haven't been any sort of reports of it recently, and that's why there's been like additional guards and stuff just in case and something shows up. But the rest of you make your way back to town. Where in town are you going? Just to the notice board, or are you going to sit down in a building where it's a little more private?
We might as well swing by the notice board to grab the paper.
Okay. You guys stop by the notice board. Are you heading just like into the mess hall or something to have this conversation? The workshop, just outside at the notice board.
I think the mess hall makes sense.
Okay.
Nobody's really in there this time of day, right?
Yeah, it's just beginning to start hitting on lunchtime. But there won't be many people in there at this point. Food's not quite ready yet. Okay. So you guys kind of sneak away with this ripped notice paper in hand. Kind of find a more far away from the kind of couple of people that are eating an early lunch or having a snack in the mess hall. Sit her down, and she kind of puts her hands over each other, kind of over her stomach.
Right.
And she kind of says, "Okay, well, we're here. So, yeah, when we got here, I've had some nightmares. I don't know. There was a couple I had of drowning. There was one where everything around me was shaking and stuff was falling off of walls, like an earthquake. I had a dream of falling off the ship while we were kind of making our way here initially. And she kind of sits there and just kind of lists off a couple of pretty bad dreams. And she's like, I was really tired and exhausted at first when we first got here. I'm still having like sort of long nights where I'm not able to fall asleep right away. That's why I've been kind of on floater duty. But I've been, at least I think I've been better. Oh, I would like everyone also who's in this conversation to roll me a perception check.
Spot?
A spot check, yes. I've been listening to Dimension 20 and they've been on 5th edition.
Oh my god,
Oh,
I saw it.
nice, nice.
Sad whenever I see
Probably,
the
I
fancy
assume.
D20 animation, like natural 20 animation, then I look over and Hector has a 19.
I mean, you still did fully 3 points better than me.
Luckily,
Oh,
it's
it was
not
my
a.
D20. Oh, I was the natural 20.
You were the
Yeah,
natural
that's
one.
what I meant.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was mine. I was just excited I did a good roll.
Yeah, no, that was yours. Luckily, this isn't a too hard a thing to spot. But the three of you notice that she's got kind of bright green, like fingernail polish on. which is kind of surprising. But as she's kind of sitting there fidgeting with herself, kind of picking at the nail polish and her own kind of fingernails and things, she's like, yeah, I've been on go for Derby. I've been pretty tired in the mornings. I just haven't fallen asleep well at night, but I mean, I don't have any nightmares that I can remember if I am having them. It's a pretty recent thing. I didn't used to have a ton of them when I was little. There was one about a giant, I had a wild one about I was the captain on a great, like, I don't know, some sort of pirate ship or something. But it was, the boat was kind of rocking kind of heavily in swollen, stormy seas, and a giant... A dragon has a sort of connotation to it. You know, breathes fire and things like that, but it's like the thing that came out of the waves gave me the feeling of awe, as if you're coming across one of the like mythical dragons, but instead of, you know, kind of quadrupedal and wings, it was long, so the longest living thing I'd ever seen. Like a massive snake swimming through the waves with fins and gills came up in front of my pirate vessel.
Gonna hold up the torn off picture from the notice board like this, or like something.
Did it look like this?
She kind of like gives it a once over. And she kind of looks at it. She says, "Hold on, let me double check the description." But she looks it over, and I'd like some sense motive checks.
Boy,
I'm not sure if I've literally ever made this check before.
remember how many points I might have put into this.
Who's all here? I don't remember who's here right now.
Everyone but
Not
Horum.
me.
Oh my god.
Way to go, Hector!
I did.
Ironically,
I rolled so
the
good today.
19 is higher than the 20.
20. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay, so Hector,
I got
Um,
that nat 20 earlier, and now I'm just fucked.
you are the only one who picks up on this. Because luckily, Solent is not the most well-guarded and secretive person. But she still has her moments, where as Teriko takes out the notice board picture with the sea serpent drawing, you kind of see... Well, she was kind of like nervously fidgeting with her hands in her like lap on her stomach, picking at the nail polish. You see, she just kind of, for just a second, just half a second, less than, she stops fidgeting and breathing for a brief moment, and she kind of goes, "No, not like that at all. It was much different. Yes, no, I've never seen that before in my life."
So, do I have the sense that she is lying
Oh,
about
yeah.
this, or just that she had some kind of reaction?
That you get the idea that she is definitely hiding something. If she's lying or if she's just trying to cover something else up, remains
but
to be
something
seen.
relating to the picture.
What was that, Charity?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry about it. I said I put a Glock to her forehead.
This is
But we don't have those.
this is a robbery. So yeah,
We just started playing Cyberpunk.
she kind of goes and is like, "Yeah, I don't know anything about those drawings either. I'm a terrible artist."
You didn't make them?
Oh no, not at all. Not that it's way outside of my artistic ability.
She's telling the truth about this part, yes?
Yes.
Alright,
You
well,
ever see a weird shadow person dripping goo at some point?
weird. She
On
kind
a
of
big hat.
like looks at you as a weird shadow person dripping goo wearing a hat. Are we talking
Yeah, like
about?
a big hat that like drips goo, and they seem like a two-dimensional sort of person.
She kind of looks and goes, "Are we talking about one of your nightmares now?"
I mean, you know,
Not that not
there's
that I
another
can
similar
recall. I
character.
mean, you have a dream, you have a nightmare. There's people in it, but like they're not really people, they're more shapes and colors and forms and emotions kind of just on a backdrop of absurdity. So, yes, no. I guess what kind of hat?
Did anything in the dream feel like time was slowing down? Down like a
Or
figure?
speeding up.
Or speeding up. Speeding up might happen.
And she kind of sits there contemplative for a good minute or so, just kind of trying to refresh on her dreams. And she's like, well, I mean, sometimes, nightmares feel like they take 1,000 years, right? I remember very vividly when I was a little girl having a dream of being trapped in a spider web, and that one never seemed to end when I was, just a mere 30, 40 years old. And I
understand.
like had to go to my parents, and they were explained like, okay, well, remember, you only trance and focus meditate your mind for 4 hours, so even if it felt like a lifetime and a millennia had passed as you waited for its shiny ivory mandibles to puncture into your skin and liquefy your body from the inside out, it just felt like 1,000 years. It was actually only a few hours, which in the grand scheme of things is like no time at all. Sorry, did I get too personal there?
You know what? A little bit.
I
but
mean,
you know what?
we're
all
out
good.
here asking you about your dreams. I mean,
We're asking you a lot of personal questions. Speaking of personal, those are pretty nails.
Oh, thank you. I've got a nail polish from Mentha a couple weeks ago, and I was hoping it would improve some self confidence, but all I end up doing is picking it off and just leaving a trail wherever I go.
Oh, wait a second. I have a great idea.
Search the trail.
You guys keep talking. Eriko's gonna like just quickly scurry over to the workshop and take like some bits and scraps and make a fidget toy.
Okay. Roll me either
Make, like, a little fidget
a
spinner.
craft check or probably a craft check. You're making something. Yeah, give me a craft mechanisms check.
that is so
Come
specific.
on.
So as you run away, you kind of hear her go, "Wait, I thought you had questions. Do you want the paper back?" Before you slam out the door, run into your workshop,
Just like, they can take care of it.
and immediately just start shoving things together. And eventually, what you come back with isn't really what could be called a fidget toy, but instead is this amalgamation of any part you had spare laying on your desk, kind of connected in any way that would be easily thrown together within the 2 minutes you were trying to do this in. So you basically end up with just kind of a mass of metal that's partially screwed together, where there's like some gears that will spin easily. There's a couple of like springs that are just kind of like sticking out, like kind of pokey out the side. There's one gear configuration that you haven't done since you were an apprentice, which is, like there's 3 gears together in such a position where they all lock and none of them will be able to spin. So you've made what is effectively a piece of trash that you could hold onto and play with
That's so rude.
if you do not get stabbed with the various springs and pointed implements.
Can't get tetanus.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I know it doesn't pretty You know, I might have gone through this a little faster than I should have. If you spin this part, you know, it's fine if the screw falls out. That's like part of the fun, right? It's screwing it back in, and
It's kind of like a puzzle.
So as you're like explaining how this fidget toy is supposed to work to her, and it's like visibly falling apart, you kind of turn one gear in just the wrong direction, where the whole thing and all this kind of tensity or like tension that's been built within it just kind of explodes outward in like a 3-foot radius, and kind of these various gears and springs and cogs just kind of clatter to the ground as she kind of quickly covers her face to not get stabbed by anything. And she's like, oh, well, oh, thank you, I guess. She kind of leans down under the table and takes two gears that look like they can fit together and puts them on the table and begins like turning one with her finger on the other as an axle. It's like this thank you. I appreciate this. But also, while we were gone, we just kind of sat here for 2 minutes, kind of awkwardly, I think. I don't think anyone really had any idea of where you were going, what was happening. So, I appreciate this a lot, and the effort that you have put into this is, I guess, what I am saying. But also...
I thought of a question in the meantime.
Okay. But also, I like playing with my fingers, so it's fine. Thank you.
Sorry, I guess this is why you shouldn't really rush a job. Maybe actually look for good parts.
I'm sure
He
you.
says,
You're the boss.
slowly, sheepishly picking up all the parts.
You do see she's kind of like flipping one of the gears and just in between her fingers like a coin. At this point, kind of pretty dexterous. But she's like, no, it's the thought that counts, and I appreciate it. I've been going through having to relive some horrors from my childhood and recent memory, and I'm still not quite sure as to what the other than the notice board post has anything to do with this. But I'm happy to help with anything that you need me for, folks.
Has anyone you know mentioned having nightmares as well, or?
Lark.
She kind of sits there and says, well, there's Clark. He's kind of a gopher going around doing stuff, but from the sounds of it, he's been...
Lark this whole time? I thought it was Lark.
Oh, it is Lark. You're right.
Okay.
She's kind of like, well, there's Lark, but from the sounds of things, he's kind of always had a lot of pent-up trauma and baggage that he's been trying to get rid of, and I think that coming out here was sort of a... This is me armchair psychiatristing, but I think coming out here was like his way of trying to start fresh or something. Maybe find himself. I don't know. I don't know the guy that well. I just know that he came to me after I put up this thing on the notice board and was like, oh, I've been having bad dreams too. But I just try... He said he just tries to emotionally suppress them through strength of will, which I don't think is very healthy.
It's not the recommended course of action, no.
So, anyway, we're in the mess hall. Do you have any... And it is a little... But starting to sneak up at my lunchtime. Do you have anything, Charity, Doc, that you have that you want taste tested? Ready? Anything that might calm me down in this very strange situation?
I have some peppermint extract, and she starts pulling up various bottles. She has probably peppermint. Has she found vanilla? I feel like vanilla is a fairly reasonable thing to have found by now.
Yeah,
she tried to make a hot sauce out of the combustion.
Okay.
I don't know how that went.
Floating equals hot,
she's not tried it yet. It's just in a bottle.
It's just in a bottle. And she's like, oh, there's some mint flavoring sounds nice. And she kind of puts her hands down in her lap and says, I will be right back. I'm going to go see if there should... It's almost lunchtime. There should be some pine tea or something done in the kitchen. I'll be right back as she kind of excuses herself for a moment to go get something to drink your extract in. What are the rest of you doing in the meantime?
Um, I guess Jericho just wants to say, like, hey, if you have any more nightmares, anything similar to the dream about the boat, just, like, let one of us know. Then he's gonna kind of sadly walk back to the workshop with his pile of
And-
crap.
And if you just generally need somebody to talk to, you can always go to Sister Margaret as well. She would be happy to talk with you.
Yeah, Sister Margaret likes to talk to anybody.
Okay. She comes back and pours a little bit of the mint extract into the tea and takes a smell. She's like, "Oh, that is strong."
Yes, sorry, I should have warned you.
And she's like, "No, it's fine. It's relaxing. I tried tea for a while when we first got here. Something simple, something refreshing and relaxing. It didn't really help too much, but you know, I wasn't much of a drinker before I got here. But now it's just kind of it's nice to hold something warm in your hands." And she takes a nice sip of the mint extract and pine tea. And she says, "Well, if anything comes up, I'll let you all know. But like I said, I haven't really had any dreams at all recently."
All right.
So-
Well, thanks for your time.
No, thank you. It's nice to see that everyone's, or at least that the big brass are interested in the little folks and paying attention to things. But
You know,
Sister
we do our
Margaret,
best.
I'll try talking to her. So that's a good point. I wasn't super religious or anything before I came out here, and you know, praying and stuff never really got me that level of spirituality or connection with the world that I think I had been looking for in the past. But you know, new place. I'll take one for Blark. New place, new opportunities, a new me. She kind of gives one more quick, awkward salute before walking away to eat her lunch and relieve Corum of guard duty. Well, actually, at this point, the guards probably would have came back from Corum relieving them from their lunch duty, but all right.
I fill everybody in about her lying about not having seen the picture.
Well, shit. So, when Terrico left, he definitely went back to the workshop. He's like, I do this all the time. He's gonna, like, spend careful time to make it actually work. First that fucking wand, now this... Ah! Christ.
Hey, cool doodad. What's it do?
I mean, I guess I'm honestly not sure how long it takes. He's super careful. He's like,
Roll me another mechanisms check. We'll say you're taking like an hour. This is something that shouldn't be too hard to do. If you take a little bit of time to do it.
Good job.
this time he does it in 45 seconds. He's like, ah!
Exactly. If 30 seconds was too much, 45 seconds was just the right amount of time. You've got like this pile of scraps that you were kind of like holding, like cradling in your arms as you were making your way back to your workshop. Wynn kind of looks at you and is like, that's why we always do like you say. Don't rush it unless you mean it.
Well, you know, it's just supposed to be a little toy.
But as you kind of drop the stuff on the desk, and you're kind of like very dejectedly putting things together, you realize, oh wait, all these parts I had work perfectly fine together. And you just kind of
was super overthinking it because I was like, okay, gotta do this quick.
exactly. You
Being
like
sad and doing it slowly. It's like, oh, this was actually really easy. I
You-
just had too much self-imposed
exactly. You
stress.
just shove everything together and just like, okay, screw this in here, tighten this here, wind this here, and in the end you have like a very nice like kind of clockwork fidget cube. There's like a spring button you can press that just kind of makes like the ticking sound of a clock. There's a pocket watch winding side. There's a little pendulum that you can swing back and forth by just kind of like shaking it. Just a couple of loose gears that aren't actually
Fucking
connected
good
to any of the
toy.
mechanisms, so you can like spin them. And then just kind of a nice side that's just kind of like plain metal that you can kind of just rub Worry Stone style.
I would play with this.
So you quickly whip together, and Gwyn goes, "That's the boss for you.
Thanks, Gwen.
You rushed it like you meant it."
I know, I don't. Throws like a random like bolt at like the back of like at Gwen's back.
He kind of like ducks. He's worked with you so long, he knows something's coming. He kind of ducks down, and this kind of loose bolt just kind of hits the side of the. His kind of like the side of the tent that's still here. No, it hits the curtain that's blocking the Corum romance wall. It kind of toddles off to the ground.
So that's about when Terrico walks out. Maybe you guys are walking out now. He's just like playing with the little fidget cube. It's like, when people are watching.
All right, what's everyone else doing? Corum will say you're back
Here.
in town.
Sweet. What am I doing? Do I know about the nail polish?
You can roll me a spot check. This if it's something. This would have been be a little bit harder than the one they had. Yes, they weren't sitting across from them. You were, you know.
Oh, well,
Yeah, you kind of notice it.
or ask about a girl's nail polish. I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Well, I mean, Terrico, after he comes back with the fidget cubes, he's like, well, we didn't really get much leads besides that she's lying. But heard that. I already forgot. Meredith?
Mentha.
Mentha. Heard that Mentha has such fancy nail polish still. They brought it with them.
She was trying to do a fucking diarrhea berry diet fad. Last time I talked to her.
I don't think she was trying to do a diet fad. I think she was interested in them.
Oh, I shared the diarrhea berries as a diet fad. That's what that says.
That was on you.
Wow.
She wants to be an influencer, but in this fucking town, okay? There's 120 people. It's hard to be an influencer here. Clearly, she's successful at it. I shouldn't have doubted her. Oh, she was doing something weird. She was the one that said that we should utilize every resource we can from the trees. Is that what she was saying? I don't know. Terrico told me that I shouldn't trust her.
Yeah,
But I
she's
trust
dead.
Terrico.
Hey. I've also in the background been slowly working on a message.
Okay.
Where are we? I'll just post it. So, if you guys want to read it and tell me if there's things we should include. Oh yes, I also remembered I had a few questions for Cameron.
Okay.
First, I forgot the name of the guy again who sent us on this.
It's in notes. Here it is. Almara. Mr. Almara. Of the Almara Trading Company. ALMARA.
Alright, thank you. And then, what day did we find the bird again? I forget how long it took us to get back.
You would have found the bird on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. About 2 days ago.
22nd.
This message seems pretty good to me.
Hmm.
And one last thing is, we knew like roughly how far we traveled in miles, right?
From where it landed?
Down to get to the bird, yeah. Or do we not?
Yeah, so it was about 16.
16 miles?
Yeah.
Right. Like, is there a way that that's enough information to reconfigure the bird, or
You can make me a knowledge engineering check.
ooh, that +8 actually mattered for once.
Okay. So, what you can gather, the current point in time that you are at, is you are at a place where you think you can get at least within the vicinity of where this needs to go. It might not get there directly. It might take someone reporting it being found. But, that being said, a Elmara Trading Company branded message bird, if it's just found in the wild, will be quite would be something people would be incentivized to return.
Okay.
Um,
And know the exact layout of the other continent. Is there a way that I could lean towards air? Like, I also don't remember exactly how these birds work. Is there any fear that the bird just like falls into the ocean? I really want it to just get to land.
no, it'll be fine.
Okay.
The,
And
there's various, sensors and things to prevent it from being like, oh, this is the ocean. Oh, this is the middle of, well, basically this is the ocean. It's not going to end up in a volcano or something. But, like, there's various sensors and stuff to,
It could be a volcanic island.
well, if it lands in a volcanic island, then it's not landing in the water now, is it?
That's true.
So, yeah, you know that there's at least some sort of failsafe in these to stop them from being destroyed in the ocean.
okay. Okay, I'm making a couple edits.
It's been 1,300 years since that bird was sent out. Nobody knows your names anymore.
We should put our names on there just in case then, huh?
My great grandpappy said that.
My great grandpapa. God rest his
Do
soul.
text block.
It's become hillbilly since we've been gone.
Exactly. Hello, Mr. Elmara. We successfully landed on the new continent. We do not know anything about the ship. We saw it leave safely, and we do not know what happened to it after that.
Sucks to suck.
As far as we can tell, we landed in the correct location. There seems to be something strange about this continent that has changed our location relative to you. We have no clue why this happened. The messenger bird landed about 16 miles west of town. We only just found the bird on Serenith the 22nd while we were on an expedition. I have tried to reconfigure the flight mechanism to reach you from our new relative location. Hopefully, it reaches you quickly. We have released the bird on Serenith the 24th. The town is being built at a reasonable pace, and we have led a few expeditions into the surrounding wilderness. We have not found any people living here, but we have discovered several ruins from an unknown civilization. We have also encountered a fair amount of new dangers. Bone worms infest part of the land.
Got a little dramatic there, okay? They're scary.
Um, we have found several species of giant insect, including mosquitoes the size of gnomes, bees the size of humans, and a 10-foot-long spider. There are
I feel like most
plants.
of the time you just say the size of a person, but in D&D you gotta be relative to what type of person.
Exactly. There are plants that can sing people to sleep before they attack with before attacking with sharp thorns. There seems to be a local species of dragon that's about 15 feet long and can shoot spikes from its tail. It seems particularly dangerous, so we have not engaged with it yet. If you can find any information in old texts or histories that still talk about something similar, we would appreciate any advice on how to deal with it. Looks good. I'm assuming you're signing with all your names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First and last, just in case.
Okay.
I'm intentionally leaving out the thing about the shadow person.
Yep.
Whoever just read
We
that
will-
out to us, I want to give them a tip. Just because I feel like this guy deserves a name now, because that was such a good performance.
Well, it was Cameron.
Well, it was me.
Hey, Cam, what's your gun note?
Okay, Cameron, the voice actor in our group.
the
How did
the
you
town
get
crier.
here? How did you get here?
Town crier.
He just
Somebody add this NPC, Cameron the town crier.
the whole time it's just a guy. There's just a guy standing next to the notice board, just reading out everything. Wanted.
Running into the woods.
He's got the bone worm.
Oh, there are other people clicking this.
Notice board thing down pat. There are worms that infect corpses. We have seen a deer that was aggressive to other deer, and when shot, it had its flesh move around the arrow in a way that was unnatural. The worms themselves are only able to infect other dead creatures, but will be aggressive to living creatures. For more information, please see a resident doctor. Charity.
I also really want to know how this person described the update to the Nightmares poster of just a picture.
I figured out another thing I wanted. I just realized that the Plains loot was in here.
Okay.
Oh, that was me.
So everyone agrees that that's a good enough message?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
I think so.
you stand there, you reach into the bird, you pull out this kind of oversized winding key. You stick it in the back. With Gwyn's help, you give it a few good, strong turns before stowing it back into its compartment, and allowing it to freely fly off into the sun, to the distance. All right. Did you keep
Well,
the
no, if
out of
it flies
curiosity?
into the sun, it'll burn.
Did you keep the first record disc of the message that they had sent, or did you include that in your reply?
I think we would keep it. I don't see a reason to send it, although is the bird the only way to listen to it?
At the moment, yes, but you could construct something in the future to be able to re-listen to it. The
Okay,
actual
yeah, I'll-
listening mechanism's not that difficult. It's a turntable, a needle, and a cone, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, and the way this works, like, we could not, like, a something over it, because it is, like, physically...
It's like
it's like a record.
yeah, you'd have to like sand down and polish the surface of the disc to really be able to do anything. But yeah, it's like a record. It's kind of engraved into the thing itself, which is why it was such a big deal that you made sure that you recorded everything kind of coherently at once. Because you weren't going to get you weren't going to get a third shot if you needed a second shot.
Yeah, I feel like we might as well keep it if there's there's some part of information in there that becomes relevant, at least we have it, and I don't know if it'll be helpful to them.
Yeah,
That's what he said.
fair enough. Okay. Charity, you said you had something?
Like,
I
what
want
is this
to.
world?
I want to turn the lotus needles because it says they help against scurvy.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they are some sort of citrus. I want to make citric acid with it, essentially. I want to turn it into sour candy.
Okay.
Ooh.
Or specifically, it would be an additive to make a sour
Yeah.
candy.
Yeah. Gotcha. Give me 1 second. Let me find it in my thing here. Sparkles light brown, leaves are tinged with gold. Quite the leaves are quite edible and known to prevail. Yeah. Okay. Roll me a.
Probably, definitely alchemy.
Yeah, this would definitely be alchemy. You're not just like trying to get like a lemony sour flavored tasting tea.
Craft alchemy. Roll 12.
It's not. You don't really have the full kind of setup you need to properly distill this, but you kind of get like a thick, kind of slimy paste that's quite sour. You haven't like managed to like distill it down and crystallize it at this stage, but it's kind of flecked with gold a little bit. It's kind of sparkly and shiny, but it is quite sour.
Well, I will put a label on it that just says sour with absolutely no other description, and then I'm gonna leave it in the kitchen.
Okay.
Can't wait for Dave to get through that.
Her mind, this is a failure. She did not make what she wanted, but somebody might be able to use it.
Yeah, that's fair.
She'll try again later.
I'll try again later. Let me see here. I feel like we had a.
Do we have a sour thing in the notice board?
No, we have
Oh.
the chef's name on the notice board.
I'm looking for flavor.
Mm-hmm. Looking for
okay.
okay.
Lanella Star Silver.
Vanilla Star Silver.
Star Sliver. Star Sliver.
Star
Okay,
Silver.
so as you're kind of like in the kitchen going around poking these things, Lanella, it's about lunchtime at this point. After you guys get everything sent out, so she's mostly done cooking. So she's mostly cleaning, and as you're kind of going in and out from the kind of like sacks and sacks of these leaves that you guys had acquired from your expedition, coming back every now and again, just adding them to a big pot and letting it boil down almost completely. Lannella's like, well, that smells quite good, but can I ask what you're trying to make? It doesn't look like food.
I'm just making extracts, flavorings.
Oh,
After this, you'll be able to add like a little bit of it to like a baking good or a tea.
okay. She kind of comes back with the wooden spoon, kind of. It's like, so it's safe, right?
It's safe, but it's not going to taste very good.
And she kind of looks at you and says, part of being a chef is doing things that don't taste very good. I couldn't stand fish for my first 5 years in a kitchen. Sometimes
Dedication.
the right smell, it'll go just the right way, and I will be brought back to working at a restaurant on the docks where all we did was cook fish. And I am still not thrilled about it. But if there's something in that pot that can help me make something taste good, and it's not something that's going to require me putting fish heads and guts in a jar for 2-3 months at a time and straining it out to use the liquid, I am going to try it. Thank you for your concern. As she reaches out, puts her left hand over your shoulder, sticks the spoon, and kind of gets this big, kind of sticky, gooey glob of almost jelly that's got kind of like leaf flecks in it, and it's like kind of sparkly. It looks almost like a lime green vomit with glitter in it.
He winces.
She kind of wafts up the smell from the pot and says, quite citrusy. She sticks it in, takes a big, about like a tablespoon size glob of it, puts it in her mouth, and actually, hold on, give me 1 second here. She's gonna roll a fortitude save. She rolled a nat 1.
Oh god.
Oh, Jesus.
So
You warned her.
as she takes this big bite of sour jelly, you see her mouth just immediately pucker. Her
It takes like 5 steps back.
eyes begin to water, and she just takes this other side of the spoon, spits it out into like a basin, into like a wash bucket that has some kind of dirty dishes in it, and just scrapes at the side of her tongue and goes, "Oh, blimey, you were not lying when you said that was strong."
I warned ya.
And she kind of turns around for a second, mouth still kind of puckering and really almost drooling at this point when you have something like super sour or bitter, it kind of makes your mouth salivate to get it out.
Eddie reaches over and grabs like half a tablespoon, or almost like maybe even just a teaspoon.
Yep.
And she scoops up a little bit of it and goes, I keep saying Kaede. I don't know why. Charity. She scoops up a little bit and goes, you would use
Charity's
about...
become so broken that she was transformed into Kaede.
She goes, you use about this much in an entire recipe.
So as she's kind of like turning around and drooling, you see that she's not really looking at you as you're kind of trying to give this demonstration. She's reaching up into cupboards and into some different bits of dry storage, and just kind of grabs. She grabs some like dried mint and like a bottle of just kind of like distilled alcohol, for like flambeing stuff and things, and she kind of comes back with some various things, like a kind of pretty sizable pouch of sugar that she comes back and is kind of stowed away for a while, and she's like, "So do you have a use for this right now, or?"
No.
Oh.
Honestly, I was trying to get it a little more distilled down to like a powdered format. So if you can have this entire pot if you want it.
She says, "Ah, bless ya," as she kind of immediately begins taking like pretty sizable helpings of it and kind of portioning it out into a few different dishes. At this point, she's given up on cleaning like the kitchen because she knows she's going to be in experiment mode for the next couple of hours.
She was putting this goo all over the place.
Yeah, she's like, okay, let's try this with some like mint, and you see her. She has this kind of like bag of sugar that she has stashed away somewhere that she comes out with, and this kind of big pitcher of water, and she kind of takes about the size she did previously, and globs it into this kind of thing of water, puts it over from some heat for a while as this kind of starts to heat up, and you see the goo kind of disintegrate and little bits of flecks of leaf still there, and she kind of takes a sip and is like, okay, that's still pretty there far away, that's still pretty sour, but, and she reaches into this bag of sugar and pulls out a pretty sizable handful and begins putting it in and kind of stirring it and mixing it. About 5 minutes later, because you're still trying to distill some of the stuff you got down to try to cross that threshold, she comes back with a, at this point it's still warm, but a glass of what could be essentially lemonade handed over to you.
I'll drink it.
It's quite nice. It's a little bit on the sour side because she had to cut back on the usage of like sweetener. She's got her kind of secret stash herself, and that she'd use in this situation, and pulls up her own kind of glass and cheers you as she says, "Well, this is something that'll bring some interesting new tastes to our boring lives. Can only eat 3-month stew for so long before you start getting sick of it." And she kind of says, maybe, she kind of sits there and says, maybe I put some of this in the bread tomorrow. See how that goes. Mix it with some herbs and things. As she
That could
kind
be
of...
quite good.
Make some sort of
Sourdough.
Some really sourdough.
Could I convince you to let me cast Purify Food and Drink to make these beverages cold?
Yes,
I don't
that's...
have any
You're going to
precipitations.
purify of its warmness.
Yeah, exactly. I just want to make it cold lemonade.
Yeah,
Just
that's
make it
that's
ice cold.
fine. That's fine. I'll allow it. You cast Purify Food and Drink, and kind of some of the, like, bits and flecks of, like, the leaf that hadn't been strained out yet, and stuff like that. You kind of see, kind of coagulate near the bottom as it all kind of quickly settles, as kind of a nice condensation forms on the outside of these kind of earthenware glasses that you guys are drinking out of, and she takes a sip and is like, "Oh, that's perfect in the hot kitchen. Now, if only we had some way we could do that on demand." And she's like, "Yeah, it's a job for another day."
Jericho about it.
And she's like, she kind of taps her head, and she says, "That's a good call there. It's a good call there, lass." And she begins kind of putting... You've already got the kind of jar labeled sour that you've put a little bit of the extract in. She kind of comes back with a much larger jar and begins filling it and kind of sealing it up, putting in like a hot water bath and things. It's already been cooked, but, you know, clean the jar and stuff. And she writes, "Poison, do not eat," on the side of the jar. Slaps it down and puts it up kind of with her other spices and things.
Well, if I find
Do they
more
also
stuff,
say
I'll bring it to
poison?
you.
No, most of them are pretty identifiable spices and things. Like, so, like, okay, like, that's very clearly salt. Like, okay, here's some whatever dried herbs.
Paprika.
But this one's kind of, you know, a weird goo paste. And she kind of writes poison on it because it's something no one aside from her and Charity would know what it is at a glance.
And if anybody eats it, they could, like, very well throw up in the middle of her kitchen, which she probably does not want.
Yeah, exactly. Also, she doesn't want anyone else touching it because it's, at this moment, it's not really a rare resource, but it's her experimental
It is
batch.
a limited one.
It is a limited one. Yes, exactly. Okay. Anything else y'all want to do during the day? It's kind of early. It's kind
Well-
of like late afternoon now, dinner time. A little after.
My computer shut off with no warning, and then I tried to start it back up, and it got partway and turned off again, even though I'd plugged it in. So I can't really do anything that requires, like, making a check or anything like that.
Okay. Well, we are creeping up on 2 hours, so that's fine. If your computer has died.
I feel like we're at a somewhat natural
Um,
stopping point.
Yeah, I think next time you guys are probably going to, from the talking with y'all, you guys kind of want to go out and explore some more anyway. We don't really have time for that at this point to progress the story in that regard. So I guess if you have anything else you guys want to talk to around town, we can do that. Or any
Did
other
we
sort of
wanna
like prep work.
Try to figure out who made the update with the drawing and everything? Or do we think that she was lying about making it as well? Oh, but she was telling the truth about not being able to draw.
Yeah, I do want to investigate this because it's getting worse, which is not a good
And-
sign.
And we know now that it's more than one person.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how to tell who it is besides us just like walking through the sleeping quarters that night to see if someone's having an issue. Just like having somebody discreetly watch the notice board to see if they put something else up now that the old one's down.
Alright,
I
got
mean, I'm
distracted.
down to
There's
walk-
hockey on the TV, and they're straight up scraping this guy's blood off the ice right now.
Oh, nice. God, I miss hockey.
You're in the UP. How can you
I'm in the UP, but I don't go to hockey because I'm married to Adam.
make Adam like hockey?
It's very difficult.
Go to hockey without Adam.
Yeah, go to
Surely
hockey
someone
without
else
Adam.
that you know up there likes hockey.
Yeah. But then I have to interact with other people.
It's okay to do things by yourself.
That too.
Anyway,
Okay, anyway, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, how would we
But
figure
for the
that
actual
out?
D&D, I do kind of want to investigate this because I'm worried that if we go out exploring and go to the train tracks, we're gonna be out there for a long time. Especially if I actually consider rigging up like one of those little push carts. The other thing we should definitely talk about before we leave, though, is talk to the woman who has the honey hankering I mentioned earlier. If
Yeah.
she has any ideas of how to handle
Yeah.
these. Say the woman, because I'm looking at her name, and God help me if I try to read that.
Hold on, let me take a look here. Oh,
Leanne
So
and
many
Anu.
vowels, Cameron.
Leonel,
Leanne and Anu.
Leonel, Relanice, Relanice, Leonel, Relanice,
Leanne Nan now. There's
Leonel.
another na.
The second one's silent. Leonel, Leanne, ow, Leonel, and ow,
Ow.
Leanne, and ow. Got it? Leanne,
And now?
and now. Okay, so you have the word Leanne,
Mhm.
and then you
Yeah.
go, and now.
Leanna now.
Leanna now.
Leanna now.
Leanna now.
Leanna now.
Leanna now.
It's more than
Leanna now.
75% vowels.
Leanna now. Du-du-du-du.
Leanna now. Leanna now. Real
Wait, no, actually, I
Anise.
think it's 66% vowels.
And then her last name is Real Anise.
Ilanese.
Real Anise.
Well, we go see her.
And real black licorice.
Leonel.
I'm not
Leonel.
gonna remember that
Real
next
Anise.
time. I appreciate you trying.
Leonel Relanice.
Leonel. Real Anise. Anyway. You guys look out for Leonel. Real Anise. She is a farmer. Unsurprisingly. It's this delightful little halfling woman, about 3 foot nothing, kind of rosy, plump cheeks. She's wearing kind of a wide brimmed straw sun hat. It's a little bit floppy on her.
Corum
Brown,
like,
leather,
nudges
brown
Terrako.
leather working gloves. She's got a little trowel, and a little pail.
Why
She's
you
going
lucky?
around, kind of weeding some of the farm rows.
Like you know, like the elbow. Like, hey, eh?
Like, for
I'm sorry,
Jericho
you're
or
trying
for
to
Cora?
set up Terrico with this farmer?
Yeah.
Jericho is just confused for a moment.
I don't really think that was Terrico's goal.
Sec. I'm gonna do a
I mean, I guess
self-imposed
I'm not in his
motive
head,
check to
but-
see if Jericho comprehends. Right. He understands that you're suggesting something, but he doesn't quite know what. He is looking at
What
the
it
plate.
is.
Those are important. Just like the pants, the trowels,
Eh.
or thinking that I should like something to help with the farming.
As you guys are kind of walking up, and Terrica's kind of confused after Corum, like, hey, look at that. You see her kind of lift up her big floppy
Corum is
sun
just
hat.
meddling today.
It's like, even looking up, like the flop of her brim's kind of like almost halfway covering like her eyes and her forehead. So she kind of has to lean back a little ways before she kind of gives you a little fast, like side to side, quick wave, like hi. Before she dusts her hands off on the ground and kind of stands up from her work, stretches her back, rolls her short shoulders, and walks over and is like, Corum, we don't see you out in the fields very often. What brings you out here?
Well, I do prefer the trees normally, but we came to talk to you about honey.
Oh, did you guys find some bees?
Oh boy,
Boy,
Well-
did we.
Oh.
Of sorts.
Wait. Bees of sorts? Are they like
Uh,
are they like mosquito bees? Are they like Like undead zombie bees? Zombies?
Seem to no.
They seem
okay,
pretty
appreciate
regular,
that.
except big.
They seem like regular
Oh,
bees,
so
except for the fact that they're 6
bumblebees.
feet tall.
Wait, six,
Human bees.
6 feet tall bumblebees?
Yes.
Oh,
I know this place just keeps giving, huh?
I can imagine how much honey they make. That seems pretty swell. Also, about several hundred times the size of the bees I'm used to working with, and that's if that bee was a me size and not a normal human size. That's massive. Oh, but I bet they were so cute. Their little fuzzy butts and their buzzy wings, rolling around in flowers.
They were pretty cute.
So much.
We're kind of cute. And I wasn't too worried about getting like impaled by a stinger like the size of my arm.
Oh, they don't sting unless they're afraid most of the time. Or you look at them wrong, or... never mind. Bees are delights if you know what you're doing.
Any idea how to not scare them or look at them wrong?
Well,
Yeah, I guess we're looking for general bee tips.
normally when I tended my hives back home in my little garden before I came out here to this nice big garden, I'd light up some dried sage and wave it around their hive and put them in their little bee selves to sleep whenever I wanted to gather their honey or take care of any of the hives that needed tending, to scrape out some of the excess wax and things and check on the queen. I had this nice cloth, I can't think of the word right now, like canvas, overlay, but kind of this nice cotton inner fabric that I'd use to stop myself from getting stung. I had a nice mask that was kind of wove with straw so that they couldn't get to my face, but I could see through it just barely. This kind of precautions you think of when you think of someone out working with bees. You don't want to get stung. You want to put them to sleep and you don't want to hurt them. And you want to take care of them because they give you honey and beeswax, and you can make candles or seals, or you can make sweets and candies. You can put it in your tea. In the winter, sometimes we'll roll around in some snow and have some nice, like, cold, gooey, frozen honey. But I don't think that nice canvas beekeeper suits are going to help against, well, I guess Yabo here-sized bees.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I imagine getting stung by one of those is like getting stabbed with a sword of some sort, like you said. I can only imagine the stingers about the size of my forearm at least. Take a lot of sage to put those to sleep, I'd imagine.
Now that's what I was going to ask about. How much sage did you use for normal-sized bees?
Well, it all depends on how dry it was and how much smoke I can get out of it, but I don't know, a handful-size bundle probably. Well, that being said, you don't always need to put the bees to sleep. If you can kind of prove that you're no danger to them or the hive, eventually they kind of get used to you and are like, oh, here's that big ol' Leonel coming through and making sure we've got nectar and making sure we've got everything cleaned up and there's nothing gonna come and get us. Make sure that there's clover planted and other different wildflowers. That's about where I was at when my beekeeping endeavors before I decided to come out here was I was trying different flavors. Like, I'd hear people raise their bees on like roses and it would make it way different. Or there's this like story I heard from one of my beekeeper friends about this like small elven settlement out in the distance that one of their kind of local flowers are mildly like they're super poisonous to humans, but like when their nectar is collected by bees and they make their hives and their honey, and these elves will climb these massive cliffs to get at it because the honey is so sweet and also hallucinogenic. It'll like
Oh.
make you start seeing things and just kind of this nice warm body high, and that this kind of like town of elves uses in their local festivals and things. But I haven't gotten that far into
Jericho
it.
doesn't say this, but I do want to point out that that's what makes a high elf.
And she's like, if you could get like a queen of this hive, we could probably, it would take a while, we could maybe repurpose some materials and we could try to build like a hive for them here. Have you seen it? Like, do you know, is it like an underground sort of thing? Are they like burrowing bees? Do they live in like
follow the bees?
Oh,
Yeah, mostly we just went ahead and kept our distance from them.
that's a nice safe thing to do. Are any of you allergic to bees? Have you been stung before?
Fuck, am I allergic
Should we
to
roll
bees?
Oh my god.
Cameron, should we roll?
I mean, hold on. You can roll if you want. What percentage of people are allergic to bees?
I'm trying to go to bed.
We're working on it. But first, we need to see.
We need to see
Who's allergic to bees? Okay.
A standing part of all D&D campaigns.
Yeah, I would like everyone to roll a percentile. If you roll
I
a
already
3,
closed my thing.
okay, I will roll a percentile for you. Yabo is not allergic to bees. Charity is not allergic to bees. Corum is not allergic to bees. I will roll for you as well, Madison. Hector.
I got a. Oh, I found an online roller. I got a 44.
Okay, Hector is not. None of you are allergic to bees.
Thank God.
Great news.
And at this revelation, she kind of goes, "Oh, okay, that's good. You don't want anything bad happening there, but also, the bees I work with, you know, tiny, tiny, tiny little cute things. Versus getting stabbed with a sword, might be a little bit different. Don't know. But also, you know, most bees, depending on how the species and stuff, some die if they sting. So, that could be going." Sad about. Anyway, that's a grim place. So you guys don't know, like, if it's like a carpenter bee, if it like digs a nest underground, if it's like, because these are massive bees, if they like build freestanding structures or anything.
No, we
Maybe
just
the
kind of
bees
saw them and went,
next
"Huh, let's not go that way."
Not that we saw.
Okay, and there weren't like any other normal bees by them or anything, right? Not that you saw.
Not that I remember seeing.
Okay, well, you know, if you can find some normal-sized bees, I'm more than welcome, more than happy to like take care of them. Us like even aside from my normal farming duties and weedings and things like that.
But you
Totally
mentioned
okay.
that
If you find,
if,
oh, go
you
ahead.
mentioned if we brought a queen, how would we bring that back to you safe? Like a normal sized bee. How do we not kill the bee?
Well, a normal-sized bee, like I said, you like knock them out with smoke, and then you just find the queen, and it's pretty easy because a lot of the hive will kind of like swarm to the queen, like they know where it's at and what's going on, so they kind of follow it if something's happening. But it's again that whole
But
like
theoretically, we're like 2 days out of town. How do we bring the bee back?
she kind of sits there for a minute, wipes off some sweat from her brow, and kind of goes, "Well, hell if I know. I'm a farmer,
Fair enough.
and you just shattered my worldview about 15 minutes ago by telling me that there are 6-foot tall bees in this place. On one
geez.
hand, I am very excited and looking forward to maybe running into one of these or working with them. On the other side, it's a little frightening to hear about a bee that I could ride as a mount.
Okay, well, when you put it that way, that actually sounds kind of cool.
Oh, one of my guys is a leather worker.
She kind of hears you being like, "Oh, that's kind of cool," and Coram going, "Wait a minute, we could make a saddle," and she kind of sits there and says, kind of chuckles, "Well, you all are the boss after all. I'm just a worker here.
Definitely
A
the
worker
chuckle of,
bee.
Oh, wow, you guys are idiots and gonna get yourself killed, but okay.
Worker bee.
Yeah.
She kind of stands there and goes, "Well, if you can get a queen back, I'd be more than happy to try to see what we could accomplish. Might be a little difficult unless we can figure out how they live, or we could bring some workers back to establish a hive with them. Also, just a thought: if you do bring back a full-size queen, might not be the best idea to keep it near town when we have, at least a 5 or 10% of our population who are half the size of these
Are
things."
allergic?
Well, they're half the size of the bee.
I don't think allergies are going to matter in this situation. Poison's poison.
But if there's maybe some little bees near that queen you could bring back instead, that might be a little more manageable, a little bit
Y'all
more
realize
like
everybody's allergic to bees, right?
friendly,
People are just more allergic than others.
a little bit more friendly to people. We could do that. Just make sure that they're not wasps. Fuck those guys. They're little assholes who want to pretend that they're cute little bees, but are filled with hatred. I had a wasp infestation once in my garden. It was not pleasant for anyone or anything involved.
Fun.
Anyway, I have some more weeding to do. Do you have any more questions about beekeeping I can help with right now, or can I get back to work? These weeds eat up all the nutrients if we don't take care of them.
We
It's
won't
true
keep you
Could you,
from them.
could you propagate some of these lotus plants?
She kind of looks at. She's
The
like,
chef would really enjoy it.
she's like,
I would
oh,
too.
I mean, I can set a small plot aside to try to do them. We'll just need to clear some area. They're native plants, right? They're pretty hardy.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I can take some cut. Do you have some cuttings or?
yeah. I'm sure. I
Yeah,
doubt.
yeah.
could
You
use
definitely
all
have
of
some
them.
cuttings. She kind of goes,
Yeah.
oh okay. Well, I can see what I can do. If you want to leave some cuttings with me, I can start them in some water and soil and try to get those going in the next couple days here.
Yeah. Here you go. When you get them, just go ahead and take them to what is her name? Leona.
The
Nope,
chef.
That's who we're talking to.
Who you're talking with right now, the woman
No,
with
that's
more bubbles.
Leona.
She spent so long trying to say her name. It's been crazy.
The chef's name is
Oh,
Lanella.
Lanella.
very close.
close.
Lanella.
Um,
Yeah. If you just want to take it to Lanella, tell her that it's the sour, the sour plant that Charity made.
Oh, and she's like, excellent. Well, it'll be a while before we get our first harvest, I'm sure, but
Of course, but
I'll
that's why
go talk to her.
people forget.
I'll let her know that we've got a patch down if she wants to know about it. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'll forget in about 3 hours.
she kind of chuckles and says, "Well, that's fine. This mine like a steel trap up here." As she kind of reaches up to tap her forehead, but the kind of like wide brim of her floppy hat gets in the way, and it kind of folds up as she reaches forward. She says, "Well, it's been a nice break talking with you folks. It's good to know that there are at least some sort of bees here on this place. All the pollinators we've seen so far have been not nearly as productive little workers as those guys." And she kind of fixes her hat, pulls up her gloves, takes a couple steps away from you guys, and begins pulling some more weeds.
That she threw shade at the local normal-sized insect pocket. God, those bastards! They're not doing enough to pollinate.
Ah, those lazy ass bugs.
They've been fucking bees.
All right. Let me
I
go,
need to go to the bathroom.
and then we can call it there.
Bye. I'm gonna
Last thing
shave
I
while I'm
wanna
in there,
say is that
but I will be
Urko
back.
will tell Melody and Gwyn about the shadow person. Will not tell anyone else and tells them to keep it silent because that is some spooky shit and people are already scared about the bees. I do not want to get them frightened about that shit.
The only person that knows about the bees right now is Lena. So it's fine.
Maybe we should put the bees on the notice board.
The notice board really just becomes a warning board. Here's your daily safety advisory.
I mean, we're in a new and scary place.
Yeah.
Seems reasonable.
I'm not saying it's not reasonable. I'm just saying it's funny. All right. Well, I'm going to say bye, stream. Thank you for all your
Engagement.
your engagement and your commenting,
For liking,
for
subscribing, and
subscribing,
sharing, of course.
sharing. Feel free to make YouTube shorts out of this.
Yeah, clip us.
Clip us. Don't share us on X or Twitter because that's the worst social media site. Tumblr or anything else. LinkedIn. Follow us on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'd much rather be posted on LinkedIn than Twitter/X.
Exactly. Keep us away from Reddit too. Really,
And of course by chat, we really just mean Katrina.
yeah, exactly. Anyone 100 years from now who comes back and is like, "This is what people used to do for fun in the day, back in the day, before full dive VR or full dive AR technology and virtual dungeon masters."
Oh, these idiots had to imagine with their mind.
They had to imagine with their mind. They didn't have AI generated
Thank you,
images of
Katrina.
6-foot tall bees. Anyway,
I do what I can
bye.
to farm the bots.